family, welcome to Family Meeple. I'm Raymond, and this is it. There's no more waiting now, there's no more penultimates. This is the grand finale of Marvel United All-In campaign for everything Season 1, the Ultimates campaign, and this is the finale of the Avengers storyline, which is of course working towards the Thanos Infinity Challenge. So we are up against the first child of Thanos, which for our purposes this game will be Proxima Midnight. So we've got the board set up. We have the special locations from the Thanos Infinity Box, so let's have a look and see what we have. We have the Sanctum Sanctorum. So at the end of your turn, you may place one action token from the pool on a threat or power-up card, so that's very handy. We have Vormir. At the end of your turn, you may knock out another hero in this location to immediately clear a threat card. We have an Nidavellir. At the end of your turn, you may gain an attack token, and you may discard one card from your hand to the bottom of your deck to gain another attack token. Over at Hala, we have the ability to swap a card from our hand with one in the face up in the storyline. Excuse me. We have New York. At the end of your turn, you may discard one action token to draw one card. And then Asgard. At the end of your turn, if you have one or two cards in your hand, you may draw a card. I think one of the key ones for us, I think definitely Sanctum Sanctorum over here. And up against Proxima Midnight, we'll have Shuri. We'll draw up her starting hand. Oh, off to a cracking start. Oh, double wilds, awesome. And she is supported by Okoye. We have the Vibranium Spear, attacks on a wild and another heroic feat. Excellent. Of course, this is what Thanos is playing for, these Infinity Stones. What he's interested in, hence we have, of course, the Gauntlet at the top. So we need to start by preparing the enemy's deck. So we will put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards down. One of the Infinity Stone cards, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Another of the Infinity Stone cards, and one on the bottom. And the notion would be, of course, we don't get to them. These represent Proxima Midnight going out, finding and gathering the Infinity Stones on behalf of Thanos that he will then use against us at the end of the game. Now, should Thanos gain all 6 Infinity Stones, of course, he will have filled the Gauntlet and snap, that's it, all over. So that is what we need to prevent. In the meantime, we also have additional benefits that we can glean. So this here is a power-up card, and what we're going to try and do is hopefully attain enough of these actions that we can then use this power-up when we are fighting against Thanos, and that'll work for us towards defeating him later on in this mini campaign. So I think that is all the rules and changes explained, other than over here in the villain deck. So it's typical fashion. When the villain, you clear the first threat, the villain acts after every 2 hero cards. Clear the second threat, the villain is now vulnerable to damage. Should we clear the third threat, heroes unlock this power-up card. So there is another power-up card hiding away under here. So of course we pulled out the special Infinity board for this as well. Okay, so let us have a look at the threats that we'll be facing off. So we have Masterful Fighter. On this location, Proxima Midnight ignores the first attack used against her each turn. And another Masterful Fighter over at Vormir. We have a prisoner camp. Each civilian in this location requires an extra heroic feat to be rescued. another prisoner camp. And then finally, tactical support heroes in this location suffer 1 damage whenever they take damage, sorry, take an extra damage. And that's tactical support over at the other 2 locations. We've got tactical support, prisoner camp, masterful fighter. Okay, that is it. We are ready to play. Let's have a look. Starting off, well, in fact, let's go through her cards first of all. So when she bams, there's no special setup. When she bams, she deals 1. Going to get a tracker out. There we go. When she bams, she deals 1 damage to each hero in her location. Discard all the civilians from her location. Increase the slaughter track 1 plus the number of civilians discarded. Wow. Okay. If it reaches 12, we lose. And then in the event of overflow, if a thug cannot be taken place, then deal 1 damage to each hero in proximate Midnight's location. If a civilian token can't be added to a location, increase the slaughter track by 1 for each civilian that you cannot add. Okay, so it's all about civilians in this game, which is great because we just drew a real good selection of heroic feats to start us off. So let us begin, with Proxima Midnight. So she is going to stay where she is. And where is she? We don't know. Let's have a look. She is at location number 2. She is at Vormir. Of course, so that's where she will begin. Okay, so cleansing, and that means, of course, that our heroes are over in New York City. Right, so cleansing. Discard all civilians, thankfully there are none, in all adjacent locations. Decrease the slaughter track by the number of civilians discarded. Heroes in these locations may take 1 damage for each civilian they want to keep. Unfortunately, we're not there, so we have to discard 2 civilians. That is not a good start, folks. And she is off to a storming start to her villainous plot. Ouch. Okay, so we've already lost some civilians now. There's not a lot out there on the board, actually. This is going to be interesting. Wowza. Okay, so I think Shuri will start. She will commence with... I know Sanctum Sanctorum was definitely where I wanted to be. So let's do a double wild, and we'll use it to move. For Shuri, 1, 2. That gets us to the Sanctum Sanctorum. That moves across from New York. 2, and we are over to... Oh, I didn't draw an extra card. Nice healing card there. Okay. So an attack. So Vibranium Spear may do 2 damage in an adjacent location and then 1 damage in her actual location. Yeah, I think that's not bad. It's not a bad card to play, I think. So let's go with that then. So it means she could do a single attack where she currently is to defeat a thug. She can then do a move 2, 1, 2, and then she can do a double attack in an adjacent square, so we can get rid of those 2 thugs over at Vormir as well. Okay, so far so good. We are back to Shuri. Shuri has a move and a heroic feat. We've got a double heroic feat, so I think we'll do the double heroic feat. Working towards clearing the first of our threats over here at location 1 was Sanctum Sanctorum. So let's do that. There we go. So we've got the first 2 heroic feats down. Okay, and then we are back to Proxima Midnight. Or in fact, there was a spare attack, so we could put that attack token, of course, on the power up. So she is going to stay where she is. She's going to bam. So she's going to deal 1 damage to each hero in her location, which is none. She's going to discard all civilians from her location, which is none. Good. So bam was wasted, and she's going to put out a whole load of civilians. Nice. So we get a civilian here from here. We get 2 civilians over at Nidavellir. I don't know why I struggle with that. And then 2 over at the Sanctum Forum. Good. Okay, and that is her turn done. Okay, so we are now over to Okoye. Okoye has a double attack. Not much cop, I'm afraid. So let's do... No, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Let's do a wild in order to play a heroic feat to clear this. That's the first of our threats. She can then do a heroic feat to rescue a civilian. And do I want to rescue another civilian? Yeah, go on then, let's do it. Let's rescue another civilian. And we're going to... at the end of your turn, you may place a action token from the pool on a threat or power-up card. So let's go ahead and carry on working towards our power-up against Thanos at the end. Rightly or wrongly. Okay, so we are across to Shuri. And Shuri draws. It is an attack. She's got a wild in the storyline. Give a wild token from the pool to any hero. They may draw 3 cards to have 3 in their hands. That's a great healer, but not much cop right now. So we probably want to have... We could do a move and a heroic feat. I think we may as well. Okay, let's do a move and a heroic feat. Where do we want to move to? So question, we've got nothing to clear here. We have got 1 civilian over here that we can rescue. So we could do that. I mean, we could even move 2 straight up to Nidavellir. However, the civilians will take more to rescue from there. But it does move us closer to the only other thug out there on the table right now. Not great. Not great. Okay, let's do it. Let's go with... so Shuri, move 1, 2. And place a heroic feat on... the prisoner camp. Don't like seeing skivvies in prisoner camps. Okay, so we are back to Okoye. Okoye has a single attack. Not much to attack, unfortunately. You can always use them for our power up, however. So I think that's what we'll do. Let's complete. Do I want to complete our power up, or do I want to use the other heroic feat? I think right now we're using heroic feats. We've got plenty of attack, but let's do that. So we're going to do a move and 2 heroic feats. Let's go ahead with a move, and we'll rescue a civilian. We'll put a heroic feat down at location. Okay. Is that the best thing we can do? I think so. I think so, folks. Okay, so we are back to Proxima, who will move 2. So 1 and 2. She's now over at Hala. She is going to bam. So she's going to deal 1 damage to each of the heroes there, which is none. And then she's going to discard all civilians from her location. Ooh, and there is a civilian over here, so that's not good. So she does get rid of that civilian, and it means she goes up 2 more of her villainous plots. Ouch. It's not good, folks. Not good at all. Okay. And then, however, she's going to put out thugs, which is definitely beneficial to us. Gives us the ability to use those attacks. We're going to put 2 out in Hala, and 1 out in New York, and 1 out in Nidavellir. Okay, and we are back to Shuri. We'll draw a card. Ooh, heroic feat and an attack. And she's got a heroic feat in the storyline. That sounds like that probably a heroic feat and attack is the best way to go. So let's have a look. She's over here in the Nidavellir, so with the 2 heroic feats, she can clear this prisoner camp. Now at the end of her turn, she can gain an attack token. That's nice. She has 1 attack left, so let's go ahead and attack this thug. We'll add that to our mission. And then she'll gain an attack token, and I think we'll use that. She'll keep hold of it for now. Keep hold of it for now. Okay. So we're halfway to the Infinity Stone being revealed, I believe. Okay, so we are back to Okoye. Okoye will draw and gets a move. She could do a move and a heroic feat and a punch. I mean, I think it's going to have to be that. Oop. We cleared another threat as well. That down there. Okay, so let's go with a move. So we can't really do a lot where we are. So she'll do a move, and she has an attack. That's fine. Let's put an attack token out on power up. So at least that's not wasted. And we have a heroic feat, so we'll rescue another civilian. Okay. And we are back to Shuri. Heroic feat. We've got to move. Oh, at the end of my turn, I can gain an attack token. I can discard a card to gain another attack token. I think that's worth doing. Okay. And that means we can play Young Genius from Shuri. So put that in the storyline. So give a wild token from the pool to any hero. So let's give that to Shuri. And oh no, we're going to definitely give that to Okoye, and then she can draw up to 3 cards. Double wild, fantastic. Okay, and she has a wild and a move that she can use. So I think we're going to do a move to Hala. That's where we have the other prisoner camp. And because we're potentially at risk of overflow there, I think we're going to use the attack token that she gained earlier to attack one of the thugs over here. And then with the wild, I think we're going to take care of that prisoner camp. Or at least start to. Okay. So that is our 3 turns. We are back to Proxima Midnight. Move to the location with the most civilians. Okay. So she didn't have to move far. Just one more to New York. She's definitely running away from us. Okay, hunting. Spear. Discard all civilians in Proxima Midnight's location. Increase her track by the number of civilians discarded. Okay, so that's better than that. Bam, at least. Okay. Heroes in her location may take 1 damage to avoid this, but we're not in her location. So we cannot do anything about that. And that is it. Her turn. Okay. How are we doing, folks? I mean, we're good ways towards clearing the mission. So we are back to Okoye. And Okoye draws. Move and attack. And we've got a wild in the storyline. I think the double wild absolutely trumps everything else. So let's go ahead and do a move with one of those wilds and a double wild to clear a third of our 4 threats. That's as much as she can do there. And at the end of your turn, you may swap a card from your hand with 1 face up in the storyline. And obviously that double wild would have been the number 1 culprit for that. I've got a single wild. Nothing else on it though. Okay. What to do? Are we going to swap one of our cards? That is basically the question. We could swap it for a move and attack. With a double attack. Okay. Oh, we'll leave it as is. We'll leave it as is. We'll leave it as is. Okay. So we are back to Shuri. Oh, I'm genius. Okay. Another healing card. We've got a double wild and a storyline. We can do a single wild, do an attack. What do we want to do, folks? That is the question. Certainly not got many civilians out there. We've not got many tokens at all, in fact. It is surprisingly sparse. So we have 1 civilian here, we have 2 thugs here and 1 thug there, and that is it. We haven't got enough tokens out to complete any of the missions right now, which is not great. So I think let's play the single wild. We don't need it for healing, but that gives her a wild token and the ability to use those. So she'll defeat 2 thugs where she is, and then she'll move to Nidavellir. And I think she's going to rescue the civilian there with that wild token, because there isn't much else to do, and the main thing is to keep it out of Midnight Proxima's sticky paws. So we're back to Okoye. Ooh, accomplished strategist. Reveal the top card of your deck. You may put it at the bottom of your deck and gain a wild. Okay, we've got 3 cards left. We could do a move and attack, which means we will need 1 more civilian we start working towards. Ooh, that could work, folks. Oh, I didn't grab a attack token. That'll come down here and clear this card for us. So that is now available for us come the big fight. So we've got 4 attack tokens on there. That is now unlocked. Power up! Right. Now let's do a move and attack. Let's do a move and attack. So he's going to move to New York, and at New York she'll attack this thug. And then with the wild token, she's going to start off this, which will be the 4th of our threats. So that is it for our innings. All tokens have been completely cleared. Wow. Let's see what happens. We've got some more civilians coming out. 4 of that would clear the civilians. But she's going to start by moving to 1 and 2. She's over at the Sanctum Sanctorum. And there's no BAM. So she's just got to put out civilians. 1, 2 in her location. 1 in each of the neighbouring locations that we can potentially mop up on the way round. But let us have a look. So that was it for Proxima Midnight. We are back to Shuri. Oh, that's the healing card. Yet again. Okay, so we've got a move and an attack. Attack is useless. Really want to move and a rescue. So we'll just put a heroic feat out. And Shuri will move. There is nothing to attack, and she will rescue. We have 3 civilians to go, folks. Okay. Plenty of attack, nothing to attack right now. Move and attack. Dare I? What to do, folks? What to do? Let's do the accomplished strategist, which gives her a wild and a heroic feat. Wild and heroic feat. And I think we're going to move to Hala. So wild and heroic feat there, and then she can use the wild to move here, which means she can swap a card from a storyline. We're going to swap a single attack for a double wild. Whoops. Make an absolute mess of that storyline. Okay, and then we are back to Shuri. Shuri will draw. It's a single wild. What have we got? I've got a single wild. Single wild. Okay, let's go with the young genius. So that will get her a wild token. Which means she can use a wild to move and then use a single wild and the wild token to clear these 2 civilians. We are 1 away from everything on our mission boards. I can't even remember the last time I've been anywhere near that close. to clearing the entire deck. Okay, and we are back to Proxima Midnight. Yep, and there is the Infinity Stone coming next. So Proxima will move 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 to New York. Okay, and she is going to bam there. So she will deal 1 damage to each unit in a location, which is none. She will then discard all civilians from her location to increase the threat track, and there are no civilians. We've cleared them all. Phew! Okay, then she's going to put out thugs. Nice. So we'll have 1 thug in New York, followed by 2 thugs over at Asgard, and 2 thugs over in Hala. And that is it for her turn. So we are now back to Okoye. Oh. Dora Milaje. Until the beginning of your next turn, if another hero in your location takes damage, you can take that damage instead. But she has got a double wild. So I think, what's she got? 4 life. Koye, why was it had to be you? Why did it have to be you? Do you know what? Ideally, I would love to get this. We are so close. But don't think it's going to happen, folks. Unfortunately. So let's see what we can do. We're going to do the double wild, of course. So we've got 3 wilds. So we're going to do a clear the final thug. So the villain now is under pressure. We're going to move and use the last wild to place a final token. You may draw 1 action token to draw 1 card. Discard an action token. Okay. So that clears that threat, which means Proxima Midnight is now vulnerable. No! Rescue that. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, flippin' heck. Can you Adam and Eve it? So there's no way I can stop Thanos from getting a token. Therefore, let's use the punch to defeat that thug. We can move here. We can clear this. And we can move. And we can use a wild rescue civilian. And I'll keep hold of the attack. So it does mean that we did manage to clear at least all 3 of our missions, which means we have 2 power-ups to go into battle against Thanos with versus his 1 Infinity Stone. We'll see how much of a difference that makes. Okay, so that is it for Okoye's turn. We are back to Shuri. We'll draw her last card. It's all singles, but she has got a double wild. So I think at this stage we're going to do a move. All risks, folks, because I don't know where Proxima Midnight is going to end up. So let's edge our bets, and we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. And at the end of my turn, I can swap a card from my hand with one in the storyline that's faced up. She has got a double wild right back here at the beginning. So she will stop her heroic feat, which don't need any more for that wild. Double wild. And that is our turn, which of course does mean that unfortunately Thanos does glean the Time Stone. So, Infinity Battles. Place this card on Thanos' deck and play another Master Plan card. Thanos, when he draws it, play 2 other Master Plan cards in sequence. Wow. Okay, so he's got his first Infinity Stone, and then we'll draw another. Oh, this could be painful, folks. So let's have a look at Proxima Midnight. Will move 1, which will be to Asgard, where of course we have Okoye, and she will do 1 point of damage, but because of the tactical support it becomes 2 points of damage. Ouch. So we're going to discard, yeah, we'll discard those 2, keep the double attack, and that was a bam. And then she discard civilians from that location, which there are none. And then she's going to put out civilians, which we are less bothered about at this stage. But unfortunately, it does cause an overflow to occur in Asgard. We do not have space. Okay, so 1 over at Sanctum Sanctorum, 1 over in New York, and in Asgard we have overflow. So let's just remind ourselves, if a civilian token can't be added, then increase the store trap by 1 for each that can't be added. So she creeps forward on her slaughter track. Okay, so that is it for Proxima Midnight. It is now back to Okoye. Okoye will draw a card, a single attack, that's fine. She has a double attack. Only a move in the storyline. That's a bit poor. But she will attack and double attack. So that's 3 points from Proxima Midnight's 4. Proxima Midnight has 1 point left. Can we do it at this stage? I think we'll be able to with Shuri's double wild. Shuri will proceed to move 1 and 2, and with the double attack left in the storyline, she'll remove the final health, and of course there goes Proxima Midnight. She is done. Woo! Wow. Okay, so you can see we're definitely against it, and of course we lost the Time Stone to Thanos, so he has got his first Infinity Stone we'll be fighting against. Okay, but we did manage to avoid 2 others. One at the bottom and ultimate cards. We'll give those a shuffle at the end. And we gleaned 2 power-ups. So whenever we get 2 heroic feats in the storyline side by side, we'll get to be able to do a move and an attack. But that's quite a nice, powerful combo. They've worked really well together. We've done well there. Otherwise, that is it. So we nearly robbed Thanos from gleaning a single Infinity Stone, but alas, it was not to be. There we go. Shuri obviously went through all of her cards. Not entirely sure how Shuri went through all of her cards, and yet Okoye had more cards left. Not quite sure what happened there. But there it is, folks. So, yeah, that is it. And we cleared all 3 the missions. And like I say, I don't think I've ever done that before. So, yeah, that worked really well. Got us that extra power up. Very impressed with that. And now we will move on to the next Child of Thanos. It's Infinity Challenge. I'll meet you back at the table. I'll get set up and we'll see who we're facing off against of Thanos' children next. Okay, so we are back at the table, and we are this time up against Ebony Moore. So we have no special setup rules, but of course we have special rules. So special rules for Ebony: heroes with any crisis tokens must play their hero card randomly on their turn. Ouch. Then they discard one crisis token. When he bams, deal 1 damage and give 1 crisis token to each hero in Ebony Moore's location, and in the event of overflow, if a token cannot be added, each hero in that location gets a crisis token. Okay, so that's how it works. We have our 3 missions to complete, and of course our special power-up card, which would enable us in having 2 movement in the storyline to get an extra punch attack. Our other power up, which is there for the taking, requires 1 of every token, including a threat token, so it can't go onto our mission. We have to put it onto our power up, and that means whenever we get these 3 icons, we get an extra wild token when facing off against Thanos. So we have the same locations as we saw, in exactly the same layout from Proxima Midnight. Of course, Thanos has already acquired the Time Stone, which will expedite his play should that become revealed. And talking of which, let us organise the deck. So we've shuffled these up. I'll just give it another shuffle. There's no starting card or anything like that. Then we just need to put out Ebony's threats. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have the first Infinity Stone. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 in, another Infinity Stone, and then finally the last card. So should Ebony get all the way through his deck, he will acquire 3 Infinity Stones for Thanos. Threats. So, Persuasion. When Ebony lands here, each hero in this location takes a crisis token. If there are no heroes here, play another master plan card after resolving the current one. Ouch. We have Telekinesis. Do 1 damage to each hero in this and adjacent locations when he lands here. Have Debilitating Torture. Heroes starting their turn in this location do not get actions from the previous hero card in the storyline. This dude's nasty. Telekinesis we've seen. Persuasion we've seen. And finally Debilitating Torture. Okay, all requiring heroic feats to get rid of. So they are around our locations. Let's see who we are bringing to the face. We have Nebula. Draw her starting hand. So electroshock buttons, attack in both adjacent locations and then attack. And we have her sister, Gamora. Move at a double wild and a single wild. Quite a hand to start with. So we are set up, ready to go. All tokens are out. Let us begin. So we begin as always with the villain. So Ebony will stay where Ebony is, and let's determine where Ebony will start. That's a good thing. So, and these bad guys like Vormir, don't they, hey? So starting at Vormir, which means we begin again over in New York City. New York. Okay, so does not move, but bams. So remind ourselves here, deal 1 damage and give 1 crisis token to each hero in Ebony Moore's location, which is none. And then we've got to put out civilians. So we've got 2 civilians over at Vormir. What are these people doing wandering around a place like that, I wonder? And 1 in each of the adjacent locations. That gives us 1 in Sanctum Sanctorum and 1 in Nidavellir. Okay, so we are over to our heroes. We will draw. Oh, double wild. What a start. Fantastic. Let's get those out there. Okay. So double wild. What do I want to do? We need to certainly go and mop up what's happening over at Vormir. That is not looking good. And we probably want to try and avoid the debilitating torture, because let's face it, folks, no one likes the sound of that, eh? Okay, so what have we got out on the board? We could use a double wild to clean up New York City. Well, there's certainly plenty of locations there, but we may as well. Let's get rid of those tokens. So defeat a thug and rescue a civilian. We are over to Gamora. Ooh. Deadliest in the galaxy. Each wild or attack token you spend this turn gets an additional attack action. That sounds quite tasty. If I recall, one of those locations up there, I think it's Nidavellir. I think that's the place where we get a free attack token. So that could be quite tasty. And provides us a heroic feat as well. So, what to do? Definitely want to keep hold of that. Let's spend our double wild. And we're going to move. We'll clear another couple of tokens. So we moved across to Hala. Another 2 civilians, another 2 thugs. And with the extra, let's do a heroic feat. I don't like, look at that telekinesis. Let's see what's telekinesis. Over here, okay. Back to Nebula. Okay, so we've got a double wild with a move and a punch. The move and then move. Punch is not much good there. Yeah, certainly run out of civilian thugs other than Vormir, which is maybe where we're heading. Okay, on the basis that the next turn is going to be Ebony's turn, let's do a move and a punch with a double wild. So that means we can move. We can put the punch token out into our power up, and the double wild we'll use to clear the first of our threats. And I may swap a card with a card in the storyline, because I'm ending my turn there. That is real nice. So I'm going to swap my single move for my double wild, because shucks, why not? Okay, that is a no-brainer, folks. Oops. Made an absolute mess of the storyline. Okay, it is back to Ebony, who will move clockwise to the next location with the most heroes. Well, unfortunately, we are both in the one location, being Hala. So, Ebony is up there with us in Hala. And manipulation. Each hero in Ebony Moore's location takes 1 crisis token. Oof! That is not good. And let us remind ourselves of the special rules for these crisis tokens. Heroes with any crisis tokens must play their hero card randomly on their turn, then discard the crisis token. So he has come and caused some chaos. So we are over to, that is it for his turn. We are over to Gamora, who draws a card, and unfortunately we don't get to choose what card Gamora will play on this occasion. She instead will have to discard a crisis token and play random. So we have a single wild. Don't know what's going on with Gamora's cards. playing happy. Okay, so we've got a single wild into the timeline along with a move and attack. So, where are we? We are up here. So not much to be done there now. Single wild, move and attack. So nothing to attack. But what we can do then is we could do a double move. So move and that single wild to give us an extra move. That takes us over to Vormir, and then that extra attack we can of course then use to clear this thug. So let's go ahead and do that. We are back down to our heroes. We have double attack. So we've got lots of nice juicy cards. Unfortunately, it's going to be random. So, have, okay, not the best, not the best. Fortunately, she uses her electroshock batons, or batons, so, not what I would have wanted, certainly not from there. There it is. Oh, I've moved the wrong one. Apologies. Okay, so Gamora's already over there. Let's do a move. She can't do an attack in her area, and I can't use any more of my power-ups. And she can do attack adjacent, so that is one more thug on our missions. And we are back to Gamora. At least can choose what she's doing this turn. So we've got lots of choice. So what are we going to do? So we've done all the thugs. There are no more thugs to clear. Therefore, we are on to heroic feats by my reckoning. Oh, why have we got no more thugs? Epic. That's just pants, man. Okay. Let's come down to Sanctum Sanctorum. At least we can use that to start clearing some threats if we are sat there. Okay, that is it for our turn. It is Ebony's turn. So we have move 2 and bam. So let's go up here. 1 and 2 over to Asgard. Thankfully, very empty at present. There we go. So no impact from landing here. So that's good. And he will bam. So deal 1 damage and give 1 crisis token to each hero in that location, which is none. And we're going to put out a civilian. Need more heroic feats, folks. Need more heroic feats. So 1 civilian to his location, 2 civilians to each neighbouring location. Thankfully, we didn't get hampered. Oh, we have a case of overflow over at the Sanctum Sanctorum. So let's go back and remind ourselves, in the event of overflow, if 1 or more tokens cannot be placed, each hero in that location takes a crisis token, and unfortunately Sanctum Sanctorum is currently populated, as that is where Gamora is, so she takes a crisis token. Ooh, but she did go last, which means it is now up for Nebula. So she will draw a card. Image projection. Every hero can swap a card from their hand with 1 of their cards of the storyline. Remove the top card of the master plan deck from the game. Oof. Wow. Okay. I mean, that is a mighty powerful card, but ooh, moves us closer to Thanos, obviously. Did I not? I'm sure I spent that and just didn't put it away. So I'm going to get rid of that. So we have a double wild and a move. Where are we? We're up here in Nidavellir. We need to do, folks. We need to get rid of some of these pesky flipping threats and rescue lots of civilians. We certainly have plenty out. 2, 4, 6, 9. We've got enough out just to clear the boards, to be honest with you. So with a double wild and a move. Let's do double wild to do double heroic feat. Where she is. Bit of a layer. And she may as well use her move to Hala and swap. She want to swap out that double wild? No. Oh, move. That's another token on our board. Excellent. Towards our power up. Let's go with that. Okay, so that was it for Nebula. Gamora is randomizing. At least you got a double token card. Let's have a look and see what we get. Get rid of that crisis. Okay. So we're halfway to gleaning our power up. We're halfway towards another clearing of a threat. Not looking like we're going to defeat thugs at the moment. So we have, deadliest in the galaxy. That's not great. Never mind. Each wild or attack token you spend this turn gets you an extra attack. Unfortunately, don't have any at all. So we've got a double wild and a heroic feat storyline. I could join in Nidavellir. In fact, I think I will. 1, 2, and with that heroic feat, we're going to clear this. Haha! And at the end of your turn, you may gain a attack token. Nice. I could choose to take a damage, but I'm not going to. And we are back to Nebula. Oh, a single. It's not much crop, is it? Okay, let's go with that anyway, I guess. We'll get rid of the single. Yeah, we'll get rid of the single. We'll rescue 2 civilians over at Nidavellir. And at the end of her turn, she can also glean a attack token. Okay. So that's it, folks, for us. We are back to Ebony Moore, who will stay exactly where he is. Genius intellect. Immediately play a number of additional must-bind cards equal to the total number of crisis tokens that the heroes have. And we have none. Yes. Awesome work, folks. Okay. Woo. So, Ebony Moore stands there and does nothing. We are back to Gamora. Lots of attack. Nothing to use it on. We can't even use a heroic feat there. Okay, so we're going to do a move and attack and heroic feat. Although we don't have anything to attack, we can do a move and heroic feat to rescue a civilian. The attack goes wasted. And we are to Nebula. Lots of attack. Lots of attack. Do have a heroic feat. With a move and double attack. Single heroic feat. I think we might be getting scuppered here, folks. Might just be getting scuppered. So you got move and attack. Can't even use an attack. I've got nothing. Nothing to use an attack on. Okay. We're going to do a move and a heroic feat and rescue a civilian. And 2 attacks go to waste. Gutting. Okay. Gamora. We have move and attack. Of course we do. I think she's going to do heroic feat and attack, because at least then we can put 2 heroic feats down on telekinesis, and we are another step towards clearing yet another threat. We are back to Ebony Moore. It's going to move 1, so we'll move from Asgard to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Each hero in this location takes a crisis token. If there are no heroes here, play another master plan card after resolving this one. Ooh, that is not good, folks. Not good. Okay, so we'll do that once we've finished resolving this one. So, bam. The bam is deal 1 damage and give a crisis token to each hero in that location, which is none. And then put out 2 thugs. Well, at least we got something to flip and attack. Oh, and that's 2 overflow. 1 or more tokens can't be added each here in that location gets a crisis token, so that's null effect. And then we have an overflow at Vormir and an overflow at Asgard. Not an overflow, sorry, we have thugs being put out in each of those locations as well. Okay, so not completely unscathed, but not too bad. Unfortunately, it does mean he gets to draw another master plan card. That's not good. So we now proceed to move 2, 1, 2, and he'll bam again. Deal damage, no one there, and then he's going to put out 2 thugs to that location. Certainly got plenty of thugs out now, folks. That's for sure. And then 1 thug to each of the adjacent locations. Apologies. So 2 thugs here, 1 here, and 1 here. Okay. So that is it. And next turn, he will get his Thanos gem. Okay. We are looking at a Nebula. So she'll draw a card. Single wild. Do I want to expedite? Oh! Oh! Here's an interesting one, folks. This card, Image Protection, every hero can swap a card from their hand with one in the storyline. Remove the top card of the Master Plan deck from the game. That is a saving grace. That is the top card from the Master Plan deck. He does not get his Infinity Stone. Wow. I'm glad I held on to that. Okay, so we have a wild and a heroic feat and an attack. So let's do a heroic feat to clear this. We can do an attack to clear that. Do we want to do another attack? Yeah, why not? We'll do another attack, and then that is well on our way now to clearing 3 missions, and we have got breathing space. Luke. Okay, well planned. That's what it was. Absolute strategic genius. So Gamora is next. Oh, and I didn't recover and swap cards, so let's do that first of all before we draw that card. So we're going to swap a single attack for Gamora for her double wild, of course. And similarly over here, we're going to swap. Yeah, we'll swap a double attack for the double wild. Oh, retain a single wild. Okay, so Gamora draws a card. Bleep. Have a single heroic feat. Okay, so folks, we need one more threat, 3 of each of the tokens, and there are plenty out there for grabs. So I think Sanctum Sanctorum was a good spot for us last time, and she is currently adjacent to that, and we have a wild in the storyline which you can use as a move. So I'm thinking let's go with the double wild. Let's just play it straight off, folks. So Gamora will move from Vormir to Sanctum Sanctorum, and I'm going to place 1 token and clear 1 civilian, just because we need to get a bit more towards this, definitely. Okay, and we are back to Nebula. Yeah, play the double wild for Nebula. Okay, this is it then, folks. This is it. This is it. This is it. Okay, so we're going to move for 1 wild. We're going to clear... Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Can you Adam and Eve it? So close. Going to place a heroic feats down for 2. In fact, we'll do 2 heroic feat for 3 and clear that off. And we're going to have to use this threat token down here if we want to clear this, because that is not going to class as an action token. And I have 1 left, so we'll clear this. We'll put another civilian out. Okay. Okay. Hopefully, got enough breathing space. Hopefully, we're doing okay. Do you know what I didn't do? I didn't put any life force out on Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw has 4 life with 2 players, so he's quite beefy. Quite beefy. So let's do that. 10 if you've got 4 players playing. Okay. So that was all my actions, and we are back to Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw, Ebony Maw, Ebony Maw. Oh, place an action token because I end my turn there. I may as well. Where do we want to clear? I guess it's the next thing. I'm trying to work out where we want to go, or if it's worth just picking that up. I think I'm just going to pick that up. Have I made the right choice? We'll find out. Okay, so Ebony Maw will move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Vormir. And we won't bam, but we'll put out, oh, lots of tokens. This is gonna hurt, folks. This is gonna hurt. So let's have a look. We have 3 tokens, 2 thugs and a civilian going out to Vormir, which we can do. We have a thug and a civilian going out to Sanctum Sanctorum. 1 more civilian that we can't put out, so that is a overflow. So each hero in that location gets a crisis token. Ooh, that is not good, folks. And then likewise over to Nidavellir, we can only put out 1 thug, and then the overflow happens, but we are not there. Okay. We didn't take any damage, however. So that's a saving grace. Nebula is last to go. We are back to Gamora, who will draw a card. We are running out of cards. Deadliest in the galaxy. Okay. Oh, and random. Thankfully, we have got a double wild in the storyline that will absolutely bolster what we're about to do now, which is a single heroic feat. Thanks for that. Ooh. So, is it worth moving over here with a view to get rid of 2 of these? I think possibly. So, we're going to move from Sanctum Sanctorum to Asgard, and we're going to do, so that's one of the wilds, and then we're going to place 2 heroic feat tokens onto this debilitating torture. Heroes starting their turn in this location do not get actions from the storyline of the previous hero card. It's a risk, folks, but we need it. Okay. So we are then back to Nebula, who draws a last card. Regenerative Implant. You may draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. They move. We have a heroic feat in the storyline, but need to randomize. Ooh, it's going to be a tight one, folks. It's going to be a tight one. However, we've got some breathing space, so let's have a look. It is a attack. So we've got attack and a heroic feat. Okay, I think this maybe works for us. Let's do the heroic feat to rescue the last civilian. Whoops. We're going to do an attack to defeat a thug, and then because I end my turn there, I'm going to play the final heroic feat to clear this threat, which clears 2 missions, which means Ebony Maw is now vulnerable to attack. And if we can clear 2 more thugs, we also get an extra power up against Thanos. Woo! So, but it does mean now Ebony Maw does act after every 2. So we have a move over to Nidavellir and a bam, but there is nobody there. And putting out more tokens. Oh, okay, so we're going to get 1, 2, 3 civilians. Thankfully, it's minimal, no damage, no impact at all. The fact that we don't have any heroes in any of those locations. So we got away with it, folks. Got away with that. Into the storyline it goes. So we put 2 civilians out here, 1 civilian out here. We need to clear 2 thugs, and we've got that. And then we need to absolutely go and beat up on Ebony Maw to win the day. Okay, so it is Gamora's turn. Let's draw her final card. Deadliest in the galaxy. It's a move. There is an attack. Really doesn't help. Right, well, let's do a move and attack, so at least she can move to a degree. I don't need to do the power up card. She has a double attack. So she can attack once and defeat a thug. She can move 1 And that's it. The other attack goes to waste. Oh. Okay. We are back to Nebula. So Nebula now has a move and attack. Flipping it, folks. Let's do the wild. Drawing cards makes no odds right now. So we're going to do a move. And a move. We're fairly spread out. So we'll do an attack to clear this, which will gain us another card at the end. So we have gained both of our power-up cards. Hopefully that will pay us dividends. Soon find out. And then we're going to throw an attack at Ebony Moore. We're over here. So we have taken the first blood. Let's see what it's worth. Okay, we are fast running out of cards. It is back to Ebony Moore, who will move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's quite a distance. That is quite a distance. Well, bam, there's nobody there. Okay, and then we're going to put out thugs. Makes little odds right now. So we're going to put out 2 thugs to the Sanctum Sanctorum. There's an overflowing Volmir, but there's nobody there to take a crisis token. And then we're going to put out 1 thug over in Asgard. Okay, we are not yet down to the next Infinity Stone, but we are very short on cards. It is Gamora's turn. And she's so far away. Right, we're going to do a move. Which means she can do a move and then spend the wild, and then she can use her attack token. And because she's using an attack token, she gets to take an additional attack, which means we have done 2 points of damage. Ebony Moore is down to the 1 last point. Okay, Nebula has a move in the storyline. We spent our attack token. Oh, hang on a minute though. We ended our turn there. We got another attack token. You know what? We may as well take a point of damage to get another attack token when we ended our turn there. Because now it's our turn and we're going to draw up. Ha! So we're going to move and a move. We will indeed move 1 and 2 and we have taken out Ebony Moore, delivering 0 Infinity Stones to Thanos. That, folks, is how you do it. By fluke, by chance, getting rid of that Infinity Stone, Nebula's power. That was phenomenal. That really was. Wow. I mean, that was saving grace, that was. And there, 1 more turn and that next Infinity Stone was being discovered. But we managed to defeat Ebony Moore without securing an Infinity Stone for Thanos. So we are just up against the 1 stone so far, the Time Stone. But of course, that is not it yet, folks. We have 1 more Child of Thanos to defeat, the Black Dwarf. and let us see who we bring to the table to help us in this final showdown, this penultimate showdown before we face Thanos. Let's bring it on. Okay, so we are back at the table for the final of 3 Children of Thanos. So we are up against Black Dwarf. So just checking, there are no special setup rules. So his special rules are: when a hero is knocked out, Black Dwarf doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, he plays another Master Card Plan face down. In the storyline, when he BAMs, deal 1 damage to each hero in his location, and the event of overflow, deal 1 damage to each hero in that location as well. It's all about the damage. A brute force. Cool. Okay, so I just need to set up his health. We have 3, 5, 6 health to dispose of. Okay, we have the same locations again, all set up, ready to go, and facing off against a Black Dwarf, we have our newly unlocked War Machine. Let's have a look. So we've got lots of movement. Good. And accompanying War Machine, we have Winter Soldier. So we're doing well thus far. So straight attacks and the double wilds. So let's have a look. First of all, see where Black Dwarf will begin. So he will begin in location number 3, Nidavellir. And that means our heroes will begin their adventure over here in Asgard. Okay. We have our threats to put out, and we have our Infinity Stones to shuffle in. So 3 Infinity Stones going into Black Dwarf's deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down for the first. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. 1 down. Okay. So they're in. Let's have a look at the threats we will be facing off against. We have Chain Hammer. As long as at least 1 Chain Hammer is in play, the Black Dwarf's BAM also deals 1 damage to each hero in adjacent locations. Ouch. We have Super Tough. As long as at least 1 Super Tough is in play, Black Dwarf ignores the first damage each turn. We have another Super Tough and another Chain Hammer, so the final are Charge. So when Black Dwarf lands here, deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. We have 2 of those. Okay, so in typical fashion, we will be beginning with our villain. Let us see. Oh, 3. He's going to go straight out the gate, straight for our heroes, and he activates his charge, dealing 1 damage to each hero in that location. Ouch. So we'll get rid of the single move for War Machine, and we'll get rid of a single attack for Winter Soldier. Oof, not a great start. Healing factor: Black Dwarf heals up to 3 health up to his starting value. If he is at full health, deal 1 damage to each hero in his location instead. Oh, it's another damage. Oh, flipping heck. Okay, that is not a great start. On the basis we definitely want to be having more heroic feats, we're going to keep the heroic feat move, and obviously keep the double wild for Winter Soldier. Wow, already down to 1 point health each. And here is KO'd. He puts another card down in the storyline. We are close to KO, already out of the gate. Oh, that was a devastating start for our heroes. Wow. Okay, so we are starting with War Machine. So we've got a move and attack, move and heroic feats. Let's just have a quick look. So we've got New York up here, which has a civilian and a thug available. We have Sanctum Sanctorum over here with a civilian available. We definitely want to be getting rid of these chain hammers because that's significantly increasing the reach of Black Dwarf. Having said that, those charges, if we're in those locations, are quite devastating. I guess we could just try to avoid being in those locations. Okay, so with a single move, I think the Sanctum Sanctorum is going to be our best bet. So let us move War Machine over to Sanctum Sanctorum. So that is our move and heroic feat. And our heroic feat we will place towards getting rid of this chain hammer. So then we are over to Winter Soldier, who'll draw up. So a single wild. So we'll play our double wild straight off that. So we've got to move a heroic feat and 2 wild. I mean, we could just get rid of one of those chain hammers straight away, couldn't we, with that? I think that is going to be our best bet. Let's do that. So we're going to move, and for a heroic feat and a wild, we'll get rid of the chain hammer. So that's gone. And I have a wild left. Let's rescue a civilian. Start as we mean to go. And at the end of your turn, you may place an action token from the pool on a threat or power-up card. Do you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to play on the power-up card. I'm really not liking where this has gone so far. So we're going to start clearing off this other chain hammer, which is the other side of where we are. So put a heroic feat up here on the chain hammer in Hela. Okay, so that is 2 of our heroes' turns. We are back to War Machine. I've got to move and attack. So thankfully we have got some thugs to defeat over at Vormir. So coming up to Vormir, we've got a couple of thugs over here. So let's go ahead, I think, and do, well, we don't have much choice. It's a move and attack or a move and attack. It does have double wild as well. So it's super tough. Yeah, why not? Let's work towards clearing this. So we're going to move and attack. So we've got 1 thug cleared. And we're going to put the double wild, we'll put 2 heroic feats. Whoops. Straight onto super tough out at Vormir. Okay, so I think that was quite a productive turn for our heroes, but we are back to Black Dwarf. Oh, he's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3 takes him back to Nidavellir. Okay, and again, he's not going to BAM. He'll do his healing. Because he's already at full health, he'll deal 1 damage each here in his location instead, which is none. Because it's not a BAM, he doesn't get to do his chain. Okay, we managed to avoid taking any negative impact that time. So we are back to Winter Soldier. Oh, double attack. We've got nothing out there. We've not put any tokens out yet. We've got a single wild, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the single wild to move and move and attack. Get rid of this thug, and then with the wild we'll clear off the super tough. So that is now gone. And that's it for his action. So at the end of his turn, you may knock out another hero in this location to immediately clear a threat. Do I want to knock out a hero on the basis that this is going to play a master plan card? No, because that's only going to expedite Thanos getting another stone as it currently stands. But we have cleared our second threat, so that is gone. Okay, so we are back to War Machine. Rocket launcher, so he can move and then attack 2 damage in an adjacent location, and he's got a wild. So I think we could move to Hala, is what I'm thinking. So we could use the other wild and the move to move War Machine 1, 2 over to Hala. And then he can do 2 attacks in an adjacent location. Unfortunately, it's only the one thug over in New York, but we'll take that thug. And that is it. Apologies. Okay. That'll be time to get up, UK time. Okay. That is as much as you could do. We've got no other means or feats to put anything else out. So we are over to Winter Soldier. Just going to make sure I did do that right, didn't I? Yes, Winter Soldier. So back to Winter Soldier. Heroic feat. We've got a move. We could do a move in a heroic feat. Let's do that. Let's go to where we're going to chance it. We'll go to where, although I could come down here. It's just no point. It's the issue. So we're going to move and we're going to rescue the civilian in Nidavellir. That's our move and our heroic feat. We don't get to do anything else. Okay, so that is it for our hero's turn. Oh, he's going to move 3 again. What is he doing? He's just bolting back and forth. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 over to Asgard. He will deal 1 damage to each in this location. There are none, so that's good. Then he will put out 3 civilians, which is little to nothing really, folks. This is the hold up now. Not having those tokens out on the board is making this difficult and slow. So that is it. His ability. And we are back to War Machine. So we've got a beam weapon. We do an attack at an adjacent location. Move 1, and we've got a heroic feat available to use. Okay, so I'm guessing he's going to do his... No, let's... It's just nothing to attack is the issue. So we'll do a heroic feat where we are in order to add another to the chain hammer. And then we're going to move to Nidavellir and do the attack to clear this one last thug off the board. And we are over to Winter Soldier. Gain 2 attack tokens. Okay, I mean that's okay, but it's all about the attacking, guys. Just not got anything to attack is the issue. We need the heroic feats. I can't even use attacks to work towards our power up. This is all heroic feats as well. Oh, this is feeling very frustrating. This is feeling very frustrating. So we're going to head back to the Sanctum Sanctorum, I think. So we're going to do a move and attack, but there's no one to attack. But I do gain 2 attack tokens, which at least means we've got something in our bag for later. Okay, we are back to War Machine. Oh, double wild. Nice. That is a no-brainer. Okay, let's do the double wild as movement. Again, nothing to attack, but at the end of that turn, I can place the 3rd token on Hala, which clears that threat, so the chain hammers are gone. So we've managed to avoid those before a BAM has come into play, so that has definitely been fortuitous. Oh, and now we need to get back to Hala. Look at that, you can swap a card from your hand with one in the face up in the storyline. That is definitely what we want. Between Sanctum and Sanctorum and Hala, they're our two prime locations, I think. But we've done our 3 hero turns. We are back to the villain, who will move one and bam! Oh, War Machine's gonna go down. Ouch! That is not good. So he will move one and he will bam. Thankfully, we did get rid of the chain hammers. So bam! Deal 1 damage to each hero in Black Dwarf's location. And War Machine has unfortunately been knocked out, which expedites Black Dwarf's progress in finding an Infinity Stone. I believe. Yes, knockout. That was its special rules. When a hero is knocked out, Black Dwarf doesn't activate his spam. Instead, he plays another Master Plan card. So following this, we will play another Master Plan card. But he is going to put out thugs. So we have got something we can attack. So that is at least helpful. Okay, so we're going to have 2 thugs over here at Sanctum Sanctorum, and we're going to have a thug in Vormir and a thug in Asgard. Put those out. Okay. Ouch. And then he will follow swiftly up with yet another Master Plan card. So he's doing move 2. 1, 2. Back to Nidavellir. He will bam. There are no heroes in that location, and he'll put out civilians. Useful. Okay, so we found ourselves having the tokens, so that's good. That's definitely what we needed. We've got some thugs that we can attack. Winter Soldier was the last to go, so we are back to War Machine, who will draw back up to 3 and stand back up in his location. So Sanctum Sanctorum, and we have lots of attack, and we have the double wild in the previous storyline. That's certainly very helpful. Where do we want to go? How do we want to best use that double wild is the question. Fortunately, I haven't got any movement. That is quite frustrating. Really is quite frustrating. Okay, let's go with a heroic feat and an attack. So we're going to rescue a civilian and defeat a thug. So we're progressing nicely on those. We've got one more thing to claim, and then I think we're going to we're going to move 2. 1, 2 to Nidavellir with the view of getting over to Hala. And we are over to Winter Soldier. Oh, it's a move. That's good. Move and attack. Okay, we're making good progress on clearing out. Move and attack. Okay, how are we doing? So I'm thinking, so it means I've got to move 2 attacks and a heroic feat. What I can do then is I do a heroic feat here, just trying to optimize what I've got. I can do 1 attack to defeat this thug. Then I can move to here, do another attack, and then I can also then activate my end turn at Sanctum Sanctorum to place an action token out to... I'm going to go for the... Right. Okay, so we're back to War Machine. Well, do you know what? I should have had an extra card there. Apologies, folks, because he stood back up to recharge to 3 and then drawn a card. So we've got a move and attack that will get us to Hala, which is where we want to end our turn. So we can swap out maybe something like the wild for the double wild. That would definitely be good. These guys both look the same in the storyline. There's like subtle shades of grey. Thanks for that. Okay. So I think heroic feat. So we've got a move and attack, and I think heroic feat is going to probably be as useful as anything. Or maybe we'll do the wild on the basis that it could be used for something else by Winter Soldier when it's his turn. So we're going to do. So there's nothing to attack over here, Nidavellir. But we'll do the wild to place another heroic feat token down there, and we'll move. There's nothing to attack. I can't use the attack in any way, shape, or form. But at the end of the turn, I can swap a card from my hand while in the storyline. So we will swap. I believe this was War Machine. Nope. Which means this was War Machine. There we go. Is double wild. Let's go for that, folks. Definitely go for that. Okay. But that does mean we've done our 3 actions. It is back to Black Dwarf, and he's about to find this Infinity Stone. Oh, he's going to move one, and bam! Thankfully, again, we've got with those chain hammers. So he will move to War Machine's location. So it's up here, Hala. And he's going to do his bam, so he will do 1 point of damage to War Machine. That's fine, we'll get rid of the single move. And we've got to put out 3 civilians. That's right, because we definitely need civilians, but we need heroic feats to be certainly not risk of any overflow. Here. Oh, that civilian seems to have fallen over. There we go. Okay. And that is the end of his turn. So we are back to Winter Soldier. Draws a move. Got a wild in there. Want to move? Do I want to stay there? Well, he's just not doing anything where he is, unfortunately. So we could do a move. Do a move and use the wild as an attack. Probably a bit of rescue. I think we're going to have to do that. It's not great, folks. Not great. Mind you, how many other thugs we've got out? We've just got that one last thug. Oh, flipping heck. Got all the civilians out. Can't rescue them fast enough. Okay. So we will play the move. So Winter Soldier will move across to Asgard. Because I'm doing minimal there. We'll move across to Asgard and we'll use the wild to rescue the civilian. That is it. That's as much as he can do. Okay, we are back to War Machine. So I can do a move. Oh, I think it's got to be the double wild, whatever it is. Okay, so we're going to do the double wild. So I've got a move and a double wild. Okay, let's do a move and a double wild to rescue the 2 civilians at Nidavellir. And we are back to Winter Soldier. And he's going to move and attack. And we've got a double wild. I mean, double wild's good. Don't get me wrong, for sure. Okay, so we're going to do the move and attack, and that will enable Winter Soldier to move, to attack, sorry, and then move. And then with the double wild, we're going to claim our first 2 pips on, because we can't do anything now to avoid the Infinity Stone being discovered by Black Dwarf. We're nowhere near being able to attack him. And then with the final action from end of turn at Sanctum Sanctorum, we will finally clear Nidavelir's threat. Now that does mean we have, of course, expedited the Black Goat. So he is now absolutely on the warpath. That is clear. That mission's done. We need 1 more thug. We need 2 more civilians to clear these 2 missions. We could potentially get it next turn, but we're going to have to see. So the Black Dwarf has discovered the Soul Stone. So when Thanos pulls this, if and when he pulls it when we're fighting against him, he gains 6 health, may go above starting health. Ouch. So I think the Soul Stone would be this orange one. So we're going to put that out. Hopefully he hasn't got many more. That's good. Okay. So, and then Black Dwarf will act. So he's going to stay where he is and do an axe swing. Do 1 damage to each area in Black Dwarf's location and adjacent locations. Oh, War Machine's going to get it again. So we're going to do the strafing gun. We're going to do strafing gun? No, we'll do the double attack, because at least we've got a movement on the strafing gun so we can move around. Ouch. And then that's it. There's nothing else. There's no ban. There's no more tokens coming out. That's the thing we need, folks. We need those blinking tokens. So we are back to our heroes. Winter Soldier was the last to act, so we are back to War Machine. I think we've about run out of heroic feats. So War Machine will move. Oops. So we've got to move and attack. We could move again. Don't know if we need to, don't know if we want to. We'll stick to move and attack. Still nothing to attack, unfortunately. There it is. Okay, so we're going to move and attack. We haven't got any flipping heroic feats. We can't even attack anything. Oh, so frustrating, guys. So frustrating. I mean, I'm almost better to end my turn there. From there, I can do a double move. Oh, what to do, folks? Okay, we're going to have to do it. So we're going to have to move. Can't do anything else, unfortunately. So everything else is for waste. But at the end of my turn, I get to swap a card from the storyline, which again means I can pick up the... and I may regret that, but we need the double wild. So we are over to Winter Soldier. Lots of attack again. Where are we going to move to is the question. So let's do Expert Assassin. We're banking up our attack tokens. So we're going to move to Vormir. Can't do 2 attack against anything, but we'll gain 2 attack tokens for future. He has got 6 life. We've got 4 attack tokens of Winter Soldier. Hopefully that will pay dividends. We are back to Black Dwarf, because we have now put him under pressure. So Black Dwarf will move to 1, 2, and he will bam. There are no heroes to damage in his location. When he lands here, he will do damage to hero in this location. There are none. Okay, and then he's going to put out thugs. Huzzah! Okay, this is what we need to at the very least be able to attack Black Dwarf, and it may well be that becomes our compromise in this game. Clearly these two characters are great at attacking, not so great at rescuing civilians. So I was quite surprised at, to be honest with you. I thought War Machine would have more in the way of heroic feats. Apologies. So I put out a thug here, 2 thugs here, 1 thug here, in accordance with Black Dwarf's card. So we are back to Winter Soldier, who at least has his double wild back. So we can rescue 2 civilians and clear this. And I think that's what we're going to do. So let's do that. So we're going to rescue 2 civilians. And we could do an attack. I'm going to do a move. He's miles from anywhere. Okay, so just quandarying, folks. I could do a move. So I could rescue a civilian from there and do a move. And then I could do an attack of this thug. So Black Dwarf is now vulnerable. And we have 1 civilian to rescue in order to clear the final mission. And that will give us that power-up card. We've done little, unfortunately, towards gaining this power-up card. We're halfway there. Oh, it's been a little bit vexing, to be honest with you, folks. Okay, so that was War Machine. It does mean that Winter Soldier does have a double wild in the storyline. Now, the double wild played as move would get him over to here, and he could just absolutely take out but do we want to? Oh, that is the question, folks. Do we want to? And now I'm thinking I should have done the it's a question now of, are we prolonging this in order to okay, strategic, very controversial move. I could end the game here, but I'm going to choose not to. We're going to play Winter Soldier's Expert Assassin. We're going to move Winter Soldier to Hala, because over at Hala he'll get to swap a card in his hand for a card in the storyline. So he's moved to, he can do an attack, but there's nothing to attack, but he does gain 2 attack tokens. So Winter Soldier has what he needs now to defeat Black Dwarf in tokens alone. So if he can move to where Black Dwarf is, he can kill him. We are then going to do the swapping of the double wild right the way back here at the beginning of the storyline for the double attack, because I in fact don't need double attack at all now. That is our 2 actions. We are back to Black Dwarf. Let us see if it pays us dividends. Black Dwarf will move 5, which puts him in New York City. But it's not a BAM. But it may well cause overflow, which is going to deal damage. This could hurt, folks. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's in New York with War Machine. We have 2 slots available. He's going to put 3 tokens out, 2 thugs and 2 civilians. So the 2 thugs go out, and then overflow occurs. So the 2 thugs go out and overflow occurs. In the event of overflow, do 1 damage to each here in that location. War Machine has now been knocked out, which means Black Dwarf will act again, I'm all over the place here, sorry. So I've just tucked the other Black Dwarf token card under to remind me to do that. He's then going to put out 2 tokens in Asgard, which also overflows. So that's a thug and a civilian. Civilian doesn't go down, but there's no one there to take damage. And he will put out 2 tokens in Hala, which can take it. So Hala gets a civilian and a thug. And then he will play his next card. Oh, he'll stay where he is and bam. Stay where he is and bam, which does absolutely nothing because his bam deals a damage to each hero in his location, and there is only a knocked out hero in his location who does not take any damage. He is impervious. Whew. Okay, so this is it now, folks. So that goes to the storyline. And we are back up. And it is, whose flipping turn is it anyway? Right, we are back to War Machine, who will stand up in his location. And he will draw his 2 remaining cards, which is a move and attack. Of course it is. Okay. We've got an attack in the storyline. Don't need to attack anything. Ah, so frustrating, folks. So frustrating. So let's do move. So I want, yeah, let's do the move. He can move and do a single attack and clear. Sorry, he was going to move from New York to Hala, who do a single attack, which clears a thug. No, he does a point of damage. Sorry, he would do a point of damage on the Black Dwarf as his single attack. Of course he will. And yeah, and then he'll move because why not? Yeah, and I just realised actually he should have gone down even before that, because when Black Dwarf arrived here, he would have dealt 1 damage just by landing here. Anyway, how was that? And at the end of the turn, he could swap a card from the storyline, which makes little odds at this stage. Is the reality, folks. Where's the other double wild gone? What the flipping heck? I know it's out here somewhere. Anyway, okay, so that would be a swap for a double wild. It doesn't make any difference at this stage, because now is when Winter Soldier will draw a card and win the day with a move in the storyline. He will move, he'll rescue the final... Okay, so I have a choice. I can use the double wild to rescue the final civilian, which would get us this. Or I can use the double wild to gain this power up. Question is, which, against Thanos, which do we think is going to be more useful? Having 2 movement to gain a heroic feat, or having 2 attack to gain a heroic feat? Let's go with the 2 attacks. So we'll rescue a civilian, and that power up is ours. So we've gained 1 power up. Not done bad overall. And then we'll do with the other wild, we'll place it on there. It makes no odds, unfortunately, but we then have our 6 attack, and we'll absolutely lay in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Black Dwarf is KO'd. Woo! Wow. Okay, so that was quite a bit different again, a very different challenge. It was all about the damage coming out from Black Dwarf. We suffered. War Machine was knocked out twice during that game. Winter Soldier did survive, barely, on his 1 health. I mean, these guys were taken down to 1 health in first turn. Wow. Gosh, I mean, that was very touch and go. It was a little bit frustrating getting those the combinations of cards, not having the tokens out there. I felt like there was a few wasted turns where I wanted to be doing more, just didn't have the capability to do more. But those are the breaks, folks. But we did it. We defeated the Black Dwarf and we gained yet another power-up. Unfortunately, Thanos did gain another one of his Infinity Stones, so we will have 2 Infinity Stones in the final fight against Thanos, which we will come back to the table. There'll be brand new locations. I'm going to wipe the board. Let's do it. Okay, we are back at the table. I have, of course, donned my Infinity Gauntlet. That is what we are here for. Let's have a look. So we have 2 gems that Thanos has acquired, and fighting against Thanos, we will be taking Ghost Rider into battle. And accompanying Ghost Rider, we will have Vision. Of course, that outstanding scene in the film with Wanda and Vision. Fantastic works. Okay, so we've got these guys set up. Let's have a look at the locations, as these are the special Infinity Stone finale locations. So we have the Wakanda Fields. At the end of your turn, you may gain a wild token for each other hero in this location. We have Titan. At the end of your turn, you may move Thanos to this location. We have Thanos Palace. At the end of your turn, you may discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom in order to gain 2 attack tokens. We have Sanctuary. At the end of your turn, you may move to any other location. We have Quantum Tunnel. At the end of your turn, you may swap the position of any 2 hero cards of your choice in the storyline. And finally, the Avengers Mansion. You may draw cards until you have 3 in your hand. Okay. And of course, in addition to our usual missions that we are working to complete, we did of course glean a number of power-ups. So these are now available to us in this final battle. So I will pop these out just along here. So you probably won't see them, they'll be just off screen. But these are, trying to think where to put them, to be honest with you. In fact, do you know what? I think I'm going to put them just here. Is that all of them? Not quite. Oops. Is it the bottom one? No. There we go. Come on, Thanos, get out of the way. I need room for my power-ups. Okay, so hopefully, yes, we've just about got those in view now. Okay. And Thanos, of course, has his 2 Infinity Stones all shuffled in. Let's have a look at Thanos's rules first of all. So there are no special setup rules. So whilst we're down here, let's have a look. So when a hero is knocked out, Thanos doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, that hero is eliminated from the game and replaced by a new hero. The villainous plot is the heroes lose if the number of heroes eliminated from the game equals the starting number of heroes. So we have 2 heroes. So if we suffer 2 KOs, we have lost again. When Thanos bams, deal 2 damage to each hero in Thanos location and deal 1 damage to each hero in adjacent locations. Ouch. In the event of overflow, for each thug token that can't be added to a location, turn a leftmost civilian into a thug. If one or more thug tokens can't be added to a location and there are no civilian tokens, play another master plan card. Pretty nasty stuff, as we would expect. Hence, we have lots of additional power-ups available to us. In fact, I'm going to just double check the wild cards, because I think I remember at one point there was potential rule saying we should be removing all our wild cards. Bear with. Okay, so to clarify, we do get our wild cards. The exception for the wild cards is, in order to activate these power-ups, wild cards cannot be used to enact that. So that was the clarification I required. So that is okay. So we've done that, we've done all of that. Let's work out where Thanos will begin. He will begin in location number 2, as we've seen so many times before now. So over here at Titan, of course, where else would you expect Thanos to begin? Which means our heroes are beginning their conquest over here in the Quantum Tunnel. So this is where we will begin our. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, of course, distribute the threats. So 1 through 6, let's have a look. What have we got? Proxima Midnight, who we have seen. When Thanos activates BAM, discard all civilians from this location. If there are no civilians, deal 1 damage to 1 hero anywhere. Players choose. Okay, and wow. Okay. And the one thing I didn't do was, of course, put out all the civilians, which make up every single location across the entire stack. Wow. Okay. Might be short-lived here. If Thanos spams that first action, all these disappear. Okay. So, let's get all these out. So for me, as I think many would concur, the original Avengers Endgame storyline was phenomenal. Thanos, as a very, very formidable foe, was fantastically portrayed and captured on the big screen. Will we see him come to the big screen again? As I have alluded to, we may well do so yet, on the basis certainly that we have Cosmic Ghost Rider in the Multiverse Core box. The primary storyline being in the Thanos' attempt to kill Galactus, Ghost Rider gets given some of Galactus' cosmic power, becoming Cosmic Ghost Rider in order to try and take out Thanos. So that storyline we may well yet see come to pass. Time will tell, folks. Okay, so we have 4 health on Proxima Midnight. We have Ebony Maw going out to Titan, also with 4 health. After resolving the current Master Plan card, immediately play another Master Plan card. That is when Thanos lands there. Now, fortunately, he is starting there. If he draws a card and doesn't move, that also counts as him landing there. So we need to be aware of that. We have Corvus Glaive, who we didn't see as the other child of Thanos. Of course, Corvus was available in the full Kickstarter stretch goals box as an addition, I believe, to backing this level. So when Thanos lands here, we add 2 thugs to this location. We have Chitauri and more Chitauri, and then finally the Black Dwarf. So the Chitauri, each thug in this location requires 3 damage to defeat. Wow, they are considerably hardened. And then we have the Black Dwarf with 6 health. Flipping heck. In the event of a bam, he deals 1 damage to each here in this location. I mean, that's fairly minimal. I think we'll just avoid that location if that's at all possible. Wow. Thankfully, he hasn't got his chains. Okay, folks, that is it. That is all threats set up. And it is Thanos to play. Starting with... oops, a big mess. We have him moving 3. Okay, so he will scoot from Titan straight to the Quantum Tunnel where our heroes are residing, and he will heal up to 5 health starting value, which he doesn't need to, and deals 1 damage to each hero in his location. So it's 1 point of damage to each of our heroes straight out the gate. Wow. What to do? I think going to pop this one. Although I'll tell you what, actually we haven't got any heroic feats out on that side, so we're going to pop that one instead. And then we're going to pop the single heroic feat and go to the back. Okay. So that is it for Thanos' turn. It is back to us now. So starting left to right, it is Ghost Rider first of all. So he will start by drawing a card. Double wild! Okay, what am I thinking at this stage? I'm thinking we need to clear these missions as fast as possible. I think BAMs are pretty nasty with Proxima Midnight and Thanos. We definitely want to get out of his location. So let's go with a double wild to start off with. Do I want to do a double wild, or do I want to do a move? I tell you what, let's do a move. Going to do... do I want to do that? Yeah, go on, let's do it. Okay. We can do a move and Hellfire Manipulation. Do 3 damage to a single enemy in your location. Obviously, we can't attack Thanos, but we can move and do 3 points of damage out of the 6 to Black Dwarf. Okay, so that is done, and that gives us a move in the storyline. We are back to Vision. Now then, if he does this move and heroic feat, that gives him 2 moves, so he also gets an additional attack as well as a heroic feat. So I'm thinking, let's go with a move and a move. Oops. Sorry. So we move past Avengers Tower to Wakanda Fields, and we're going to do a single attack of damage on Proxima Midnight, and we will rescue the first of hopefully many civilians. Dropped out. Okay, so we are back to Ghost Rider. We'll draw a card. So we've got so we could do a heroic feat. We do a move that would give him an attack. We do a move and an attack and a heroic feat that would give him 2. Wasn't quite clear. Black Dwarf. So let's do that. Okay, so we've got 2 moves and a heroic feat. We'll do a heroic feat to rescue a civilian from the Avengers mansion. We're going to do an attack. So I've got an attack and a heroic feat. So the heroic feat's gone. We've got an attack. I've got another heroic feat. So let's do the other heroic feat. Yeah, to clear another civilian. So I had 2 heroic feats. So they're both gone. We've got an attack. And then with the 2 movement, we have another attack as well. Okay. So let's use the 2 attack. Want to go there or to the Wakanda Fields is the question. Let's move across to the Wakanda Fields and do 2 attack points to Proxima Midnight instead. Probably should be focusing on Ebony more, but that is our turn done. We are drawing for Thanos, who will move 3. So 1, 2, 3 back to Titan. There is no BAM. It will just instead put out 3 thugs. So the there is space to put out a thug in the Wakanda Fields. Sorry, thug comes out here. There is no capacity on Titan, so the leftmost location, civilian turns into a thug, and likewise for Thanos' palace, the leftmost civilian turns into a thug. So that is it. We have some thugs now out on the board. So far no bans, so far no stones. We are back to Vision. So we have a move in the storyline. So I think we're just going to get rid of our double wilds. Why not? So I think that's going to give us our best bang for buck. Whoa, stop. Sorry. Before doing that, I missed. Apologies. When Thanos moves here, after resolving his current master plan, he has to resolve another one. So the Mad Titan will now move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over to Avengers Mansion. Still no BAM. Thanos fills up to 5 health and deals 1 damage to each hero in his location, which is none. So we did get away quite lightly, but it is another card gone. Whew. Okay, so I was about to play our double wild for Vision. Let's do this. So we've got a move and a double wild. I think we're going to play a single wild to attack Proxima Midnight, which frees her up. Oh, and you know what? Let's rescue a civilian. Because that leaves us here. You may gain 1 wild token for each other hero in this location. As we are both here, let us do that, because wild tokens are helpful. So it is now, sorry, that was Vision's turn. We are back to Ghost Rider, who also has his double wild, so let's get that into play as well. So we've now got 4 wilds for Ghost Rider. I mean, we could clear those fields and gain another wild. I think that's worth it. Clearly it works towards our goal, ultimately. So we've made swift progress on rescuing civilians, and we've defeated a thug as well. And at the end of his turn, he'll gain a wild token. Okay, and we are back to Vision. So he will gain 2 wilds. Doesn't have a double of anything. So we'll go for a move and a heroic feat. And 2 wilds. So let's go ahead and gonna move to Avengers Mansion. Use the 2 wilds to apply 2 points of damage. That. I think Ebony Moore is a bigger threat, so we're going to move to Titan instead and do 2 points of damage to Ebony Moore. So that was it. We could apply a 3rd point of damage. We'll stick with it as is. Okay. 3 hero turns. We are over to Thanos, who does a move, 4, and bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's over at the Sanctuary, where we are not. And he does his bam. So, Proxima Midnight was gone. But Black Dwarf is there. Do 1 damage to each hero in this location. There are none. So, bam is ineffective to deal 2 damage to each hero in Thanos location, 1 damage to each adjacent. So there's none here and there's none here. We survive the bam with no effect, and he's got to put out 3 thugs, 1 in each location. So the leftmost civilian on each becomes thugs. Okay, so far so good. Oops. We only need to rescue 1 more civilian in order to clear this mission. Need lots of threats to be cleared and defeating of thugs. Don't have to do them all. Threats being cleared, probably the most likely at this stage. So we will draw a card. So we've got a movement and a heroic feat in the timeline. If we add another movement and an attack, we also get to glean a wild, which is certainly not too shabby, and an attack as well. That's very good. I think we will absolutely do that. Yes. Okay, so we have two movement, an attack, and a heroic feat. We also have a wild that we have to spend and an attack that we have to spend. Okay, so let us move to Ebony Moore and attack, and then we'll use the attack token to defeat Ebony Moore. So Ebony threat is gone. And we have a wild and a movement and a heroic feat left. Now, I don't want to do the heroic feat just yet. Certainly not for the purposes of rescuing a civilian, that's for sure. So let us do 2 movement, so that uses the wild, and we'll put a heroic feat out onto the Chitauri over here. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, so that was Ghost Rider's turn. We are over to Vision. Oh, nice. So do attack. To attack, we'll get him another heroic feat. We've got a move. We've got a wild that we could use for another move. We get a wild from that as well. Man, this becomes real brain ache, I have to say. So we've got 2 attack in the storyline. So that gives us a heroic feat token. A heroic feat action. We've got 1 of each, which is a wild action. And that's it. So that's what we've got. So coming back up then, so we've got a move and a wild. Then we can use our 2 heroic feat to clear this Chitauri threat. And that leaves us with 2 attacks. So we can certainly do 1 attack to defeat a thug. And then at the end of our turn, we can move to any other location. Where do I want to move to? Is the question. I think we're going to go across to the Chitauri. So that is 2 of our turns. We are back to Ghost Rider, who will absolutely play his move and heroic feat. So having another look, we've got 2 heroic feat, which means he gains an extra movement token or action, and an extra attack action. And then we also have 1 of each, which is an extra wild action. Whew. Okay. So we've got move, 2 heroic feat, and a single attack. And lots of other stuffs. So coming back up to the top then, we have move. We can do the 2 heroic feat and a wild to clear this threat, which is the other Chitauri. We can then, what have we got left? We've got an attack. So we'll take out the thug that's there. So we've expedited him. And then with his own personal wild token, we will clear another civilian, which means Thanos is now vulnerable to attack, which means we can use our move and attack to put our first point of damage on the Mad Titan. And it is back to Thanos' turn. Okay, so we are now in the running, folks. He will move 1, which is over to Quantum Tunnel, and he will bam, which will deal 2 points of damage to Vision. And that means Vision is officially knocked out. We have lost our first hero. They are gone. Vision is no more. And Vision will be replaced on our turn with Nebula, obviously seeking revenge against her father. And it will also do 1 point to Ghost Rider. So if we have a look at Ghost Rider, we'll get rid of the wild tokens. I'd rather have a heroic feat available for the stack. And then he's going to put out... and the only other one to ban will be Black Dwarf, but there's nobody in his location, so that doesn't have an impact. And then we're going to put out a bunch of thugs. So that's one on Thanos' location. Over here. We have one at the Sanctuary, and we have one at Avengers Mansion. Okay, can we do it, folks? There's a lot of life to get through. So, Ghost Rider was the last to act, so we will begin with Nebula. Nebula will draw 4 cards. Double wild. Certainly get a single wild using that single attack, or a double wild, potentially more useful. And I think we get free choice as to where to start. I think it's a no-brainer, folks, that we would start where Thanos is, and we would absolutely want to optimize the damage we're going to be able to cause. Therefore, let us do the 2 wild tokens, and now we see the genuine benefit of this end of turn swap. The position of any 2 hero cards in the storyline, because that really empowers your other hero with the power-ups to be able to follow up on that action and optimize their turn as well. Okay, so Nebula has appeared from the quantum tunnel and is going to unleash fury upon her father, doing 2 mighty points of damage. Unfortunately, that's as much as she can do. She does have a move and a heroic feat. I don't think there's any benefit in her moving. We can, of course, apply heroic feat just to clear another civilian. No genuine benefit at this stage now. But we will swap. You may swap the position of any 2 hero cards. So it doesn't have to be her card. It could be anyone else's card. So on the basis that Ghost Rider currently has a heroic feat, and we want to get as many attacks as possible, let's put a move and a heroic feat out in replacement of that. Wild, is that what I want to do? I want to just leave the double wild there. Oh, that's difficult, that, folks. We've got an attack and heroic feat. There we go. Let's do that. Let's swap attack and heroic feat. That's better. Okay. So we are back to Ghost Rider as a move, which is next to useless. So he will put out his single heroic feat. So with the heroic feats, 2 of, that means we get an extra attack and an extra move for free. That's it. So let's have a look then. So we'll use the 2 heroic feat to clear out Sanctuary of civilians, and then we're going to use our movement token to get us to where Thanos is, and we're going to attack with our 2 attack. Thanos is down to 2 hit points, folks. Just 2 hit points left. Can we do it without somebody dying? Because it is now Thanos' turn. Let's see. Going to move 2. 1 and 2. He's over at the Wakanda Fields. And he's going to bam, which will deal no damage here, or on either, no damage here, or on either side, because there are no heroes here. And Black Dwarf doesn't do any damage either. So that's the bam dealt with. Thanos' Mercy. Discard 1 civilian from Thanos' location and from both adjacent locations. So, sorry, these are disposed anyway. That's fine. So he's showing his mercy by moving the civilians out of the way. And unfortunately, he's now positioned himself the complete opposite side of the board to us. And it is back to Nebula. She'll draw a card. Image projection. Every hero can swap a card from their hand with one of their story cards in the storyline. Remove the top card of the master plan deck from the game. I mean, that could be an Infinity Stone, folks. Let's get real. But does it really avail us, is the question. Move to any other location. Do I want to move to where his location is? How do I get more movement if I have heroic feats in the storyline? Well, I don't have any heroic feats. Unfortunately, there is one there, but I cannot use it. No, I have no other way of gaining. I can gain attacks, I can gain a wild if I've got to move and an attack, but I don't have both of those. And it is explicitly one of their cards. Okay, so I think we're going to have to do this. Unfortunately, the only card that Nebula has is a double wild, so we'll swap a single wild for a double wild, because at least that's more powerful than what she currently has. But it does mean Ghost Rider can swap a move for something more potent. But I don't know what. A move and a heroic feat, perhaps? Go for his double wild. We give him 3 wilds. 1, 2, 3. And again, it really doesn't help lots. 1, 2. Oh, in fact, he would be able to do 1 more point of damage. He gain a flipping token at the end of his turn. Okay, so we're going to do that. That is it. So we swapped out a couple of cards from the storyline. Ghost Rider now has his double wild. He'll draw a card. Oh, deal 2 damage to each thug in your location. Pointless, but thanks. So we will play the double wild, giving us 3 wild in the storyline. With 3 wild in the storyline, Ghost Rider can do 1, 2, and an attack on Thanos. Thanos has 1 hit point left. I have no other way of causing any damage. And at the end of my turn, I can gain a token for each other hero in this location, which there are none. Oh, okay. It is back to Thanos. Oh, and we needed to remove this from the game. It's the Infinity Stone. Oh, the Time Stone has been removed. Thanos, you've been robbed. This could be the other Infinity Stone. It isn't. Okay, what have we got? Wow. Thanos will move 1 back to Titan. He knows his end is nigh. He's moving back to his home, back to his resting place. He will bam, which will deal 1 last damage to Ghost Rider, which knocks him out, which costs us the game. Oh, oh, flipping heck, that was super close. 1 last hit point on Thanos. We even avoided playing him another 2 master plan cards in sequence. What the time stone would have given him. He was about to put out a bunch of thugs. It's neither here nor there. We just needed 1 more point of damage, but unfortunately Thanos has won. Wow. That's it, folks. That is the Infinity Stone, the Infinity Gauntlet challenge, fighting off the Children of Thanos, trying to take down Thanos. So even though we had so many of those power-ups, and even though we managed to avoid taking an Infinity Stone to the face, unfortunately the Mad Titan prevailed, and the populace suffered. Thanos' mercy reigns supreme as he snaps his fingers. Wow. Wow. Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments below. Give me your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas. That is one heck of a campaign. As you can see, the value in that box set. And obviously it does say in the rules you can swap out the Children of Thanos. Obviously there is another official Child of Thanos that you can swap out. But beyond that, you can swap out any of the villains accompanying Thanos in this mini campaign. Flippin' heck, that was close, folks. That really was down to the turn of the last card. And we absolutely had him on the ropes. We would have definitely won, unfortunately, had it not been one for those pesky kids. Wow. I hope you've enjoyed this. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. Such a challenge. Bit of a brain ache, the extra bits and bobs, but no, superb. Love it. If you've liked this video, please hit that like button below. If you want to encourage me to keep making content, please hit that subscribe. That really does encourage me. Otherwise, all there is to say is thank you very much for watching. There is one more thing to say, which is, of course, we've completed the Avengers storyline, although we failed to defeat Thanos. But we have not ventured into the Spider-Verse storyline, which is the other aspect of this season 1 all-in campaign. So we will venture into that because, of course, the penultimate, or the grand finale of the Spider-Verse is, of course, the Sinister Six, which is kind of like this but very different. We actually see us play against 6 villains all at once. Very different. Really excited to show you that one, but we'll work our way towards that in the coming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon at the table. Bye bye.